Guys, we are back with a new interview from Phuwin. This one is an hour-long interview, only in English. I reacted already to Gemini's interview, and I'm excited to watch this one. You guys know that I really love Phuwin and Pon, and I also reacted to the Coffee Minute from the Standard Pop, which is a full also English video of Phuwin in Paris. I've reacted to that on my channel membership if you guys want to watch. And yes, also if you want to watch all my behind the scenes of We Are reaction, it's also on my channel membership. But yeah, this is a very long video, 1 hour, so grab some coffee, grab some tea, grab some snacks, and let's watch this together. I'm really excited because I feel like Phuwin, when he speaks English, he's so well spoken. He has such amazing vocabulary that I'm always like so impressed because it is not his native language, it's a second language, same as me. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna learn so much in this interview. And also I really love his kind of Boston accent. So this can be fun. Let's go.
This is Community Featuring. My name is Vic and welcome to the show. Our guest today, of course, is one of the most requested to appear on the show, but also the hardest one to book. Of course, he's super busy with, of course, the work in entertainment, but also in fashion, domestically and also internationally. Let's go meet him now.
Yes.
สวัสดีครับ สวัสดีครับ
Finally.
He's
let
like,
me switch languages
yeah. Wait.
We were talking in Thai.
Yeah, we were talking in Thai earlier, and I think it's one of the things that really interesting about the human brain is that when you switch languages, it kind of takes like a bit of time.
It definitely does. For me, it
switch
takes
your brain
like
into that particular language, especially if I don't know if a lot of people are the same as me, but I'm someone who is able to think in both languages.
I only think
so,
in
like,
English
that
now.
Transition takes a bit more time to like think in that particular language.
In order to have like both languages at the same time, occupying your brain.
Yeah.
I feel like it's if your brain is like a computer and
You gotta reboot.
Like a CD or like a memory stick. It's you have to like
CD.
Not a CD.
not in the
When
same
you were
era
not
as CD
even
anymore.
not even born when there were
Well, I mean, if
CDs.
it's like a USB or something.
Okay,
Like you're gonna have to take the Thai one out and like stick the English one in.
Sure.
Yeah, but that was a really grand opening for me. Thank you.
That was so funny. Him like
Yeah.
thinking about
I
switching
speak
language.
the truth when I say you're the hardest one to book. but we appreciate your being here today with us on the show.
It's my pleasure. I'm a fan of The Standard and Community.
So nice.
Yeah, it's a big pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to today.
Right. So your ability to think and use both languages, actually three, not just two, because you also speak Chinese, right?
Yeah,
So has it always been like this? That
No, actually. Okay, let me start with Chinese.
Okay.
So since I'm not that proficient with Chinese, I think that I'm not that good with the language. So I don't think in Chinese. I think in either Thai or English. So
I didn't even know you would think in
whenever
English.
I speak in that language. I think like most people who has English as a second language or whatever language as a second language, you tend to have to like translate it back
Yes.
to your mother tongue. Then,
Yes, exactly.
Then speak that language, or when
Yeah.
you listen to something, you have to translate it back first.
that's a process, right?
Yeah, so there's
Now
a
when I
process,
visit my
there's something
parents,
there,
I have to
but,
translate in my head
For Thai and English,
back to reply to them.
actually, since I studied in an international school since I was young, my English was always better than my Thai. However, it was because
the same
of
as
the
Bible.
entertainment industry and working with a lot of Thai scripts, working with a lot of Thai media that helped me gain that proficiency in Thai and helped me.
So
be
all
able
of these
to
lessons were only in English,
think
not in
in
Thai
Thai.
at all.
Yeah. would say,
But you're doing great, like in both languages.
Thank you.
But I understand that you get to use a lot more English and Chinese because, as I mentioned before, you work internationally too.
Well, yes, I do work internationally, but Actually, no. Actually, most of my work is in Thai, and Thai is the main language that I use. Chinese, even less so. Like, especially since, although I have a lot of international fans and especially Chinese fans, I don't get the opportunity to use the language often.
Yeah, and as they say, you either use it or lose it. Do you have that problem?
I have lost it, definitely. I'm in the process of recovering it, but I don't have that much time to recover it that much.
It's very interesting because it's the same for me.
I took Chinese as a third language in middle school and high school, and throughout my university years, I completely forgot about it and completely left it in like the back shelves of my brain. Right? And when it was time to use it again, I mean, I could use it to like a really, really small extent. I can understand mostly what people were saying, but I couldn't really speak it.
Understanding is so much
I've
easier
noticed
than
that it was a
speaking.
problem with a lot of people
Sure.
who has not spoken a language in a long time, is that they tend to be able to understand it. Not that much to an extent, but they can't speak it. They can't form the right words.
Because you only use
Yeah,
it
because
in
you need to
class,
know how to
right?
form
And
sentences,
than that,
grammarly,
like
and
other
everything.
places, no. You
Yeah.
always use your mother tongue, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But do
I
his
guess
parents
not the
speak
same
English?
with English in your case, because it has been a big or almost bigger part of your life for a really long time. So
Yes,
you
yes.
you wouldn't lose it,
Yeah.
even though you don't speak it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the things I've noticed is that when I was in college, throughout the 4 years there, and I haven't used English that much, apart from inside university classes with foreign professors. So even with Thai professors, I still use Thai, right? And one of the things that I noticed was that the first time I went to Paris for Paris Fashion Week, my English compared to my high school days were considerably worse.
This is interesting
And
because the
especially
Standard
when I
Port
did an
interview was in
with Standard
Paris.
Pop, Coffee Minutes.
Yeah,
or,
that's what I
like,
watched.
My
It
brain
was-
was going like a mile a minute in English.
This interview was really good, but it's so
my-
short. It's like
my
4
mouth couldn't
minutes.
particularly keep up,
Right.
or form the right words, and that was really frustrating to me because
Yeah.
I knew what to say.
Yeah,
I just couldn't say
I'm
it.
the same.
Yeah,
I'm the same
you
in
just
English.
don't use
Also,
it
sometimes I
often
struggle
enough.
to find my
Yeah,
words.
Because we have done
'Cause I know what I wanna
research
say, but-
on you before, like trying to find the videos in which you speak English, but we couldn't find that many.
No, there's not that
surprisingly, because
many.
we know that you speak English really well, and sometimes you do live streaming, you speak to your fans in English, and stuff like that, but not extensively, like not a very long in a long video.
Yeah.
Right. So just a little here and there, but not like.
So this
constantly
video
like
is a
this.
treat,
Yeah,
basically.
there aren't a lot of opportunities for media, especially in Thailand, to speak in English because
Because it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
There's
Because
no
it doesn't
actual
need
do
to.
it.
Right. No
It's-
urgency for you to speak English. Yeah. So, well, good thing that he's here today, so we can listen to him speaking English for like a whole hour.
Yeah.
Like hopefully. Okay. So you've done.
As
a
long
lot,
as his brain
actually,
still functions.
in the biz, right?
Yeah.
Was this your dream when you were little, or you kind of had your mind set on something else, but like for some reason life happened and then you do this?
It wasn't exactly life happened, and it wasn't exactly my dream either. At first, I must admit, I did not like acting, or I did not like this business at all.
No?
No,
That
not
would
at
make
all.
sense because you were so young when you
'cause
started.
I'm someone who
You'd probably
is very
wanna
straightforward
Just be a
in everyday life.
normal
and
teenager.
I'm very blunt. So, to me, something like acting or something that had to do with entertainment, it seemed
fake.
kind of like how should I explain it?
Like not real, or
Yeah, it seemed kind of
not
fake to me.
Authentic. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't authentic, and I'm a really authentic person. I'm a really blunt person. So when I was young, I didn't really like this business that
That
much.
would make
'cause,
sense.
I didn't feel that it was authentic or organic, and
Because they have to be media
However,
trained. Like
the
there's
changing
such
point
a
was
way
that
for
in
them
fifth
to
grade-
actually
be
be.
in fifth grade we had
They
a
can't
Christmas play
100%
for
be
our school,
themselves.
and we had a drama teacher come and try to find kids to be in the Christmas play. And I was one of those kids who were selected. I don't know what the drama teacher saw in me. Maybe something that I could act to an extent, or maybe I was
So
just a
it was
chatterbox in class.
basically luck and
I wasn't
also
really afraid of people. I had quite a bit of
coincidence.
confidence speaking with a lot of people. So she chose me for one of the main roles in the Christmas play. And however, as someone who didn't like to be
From
in
center.
front of the stage that much, right?
Center stage.
It wasn't that I was scared of the stage. It's just that I don't like being on it. I don't like being the center of attention that much.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
Also that I was a fifth grader. I wanted to be with my friends. I
Yeah,
didn't want to spend
see?
lunch and break.
You just
practicing
want to
for-
be a normal
rehearsing
teenager,
for,
do normal
a Christmas
teenager
play
things.
that was going to be watched by parents and not my friends. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna skip practice. I'm just not gonna go.
Okay.
Until it got to the point that the drama teacher called up my mom, went to
This
the
kid is special.
principal's office.
He's gonna be
and
famous.
Called up my parents, and they were like, "Hey, your kid is skipping practice."
Oh no, okay.
And I had like this huge argument with my mom at home about like being in the Christmas play because I was like,
Can't do
why do I
both.
have to do this? This isn't even something that's required, right? This isn't class. where,
Extracurricular.
Your mom's gonna ask you for like, hey, try to get a good grade, and try to get a B or try to get an A. This isn't even class. This is just like some.
It wouldn't affect my grade.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect anything. It was just something that was extra, and
That would
it
make
was,
sense
in
if
my
it
point of view
actually
at the
helped
time,
you
a
get
waste of my
more
time.
points, but
However, when I actually got to do it, and when I got on stage, I can't describe exactly what happened, but it was kind of like a magic moment, like a magic feeling that you couldn't really find anywhere else in the world. It's a moment of being immersed on stage that you can't find in any other industry or in any other type of job. And I think that was what got me hooked into this industry or this feeling. It was like sort of a joy, sort of a bliss on being on stage.
Yeah.
Which is why I just decided like, this is fun.
Yeah.
And why not?
why not?
Let's try it.
Yeah.
So was it like the presence on the stage and being watched by people or the acting itself that got you?
I think it was a mixture of both.
I feel like
the acting itself definitely got
Being
me
on
hooked
a
on
stage,
it, but it was also
being a theater kid is
it
different
wasn't the
from being an
moment of
actual
being
actor.
on stage and seeing the people below, but it was the moment of gratification after.
I see.
Recognition, validation.
You know, in plays or in musicals, right? Usually, what will happen is that at the end, you come out, you bow on
Right,
stage.
right.
It was that moment that like you see the audience enjoying it, and you're like, maybe this isn't so bad at all. Maybe
Yeah.
the inauthenticness
Right.
of not actually being yourself on stage was actually fun for me.
Right.
So that got me onto that path. However, I didn't view it as a dream exactly. It was just something fun to do at that time.
That you know now that
It's
this is another
literally
thing you can
delayed
enjoy
gratification.
Yes.
doing. Right. Did you watch the playback of yourself on the stage?
I've never actually.
Is there footage?
Of that particular play, never. Actually.
Okay. Because that
would be so funny if there was
something
footage.
else. I mean, like
'Cause if it was
watching a
parents,
kid who kinda
parents
hates
must have been
acting in the
filming
first place,
their other
enjoying
kids, so
himself
there must be footage
immensely
somewhere
and
out there.
Yeah, and throughout like all the rehearsal sessions, I was just like that one moody kid in the corner. Like,
I didn't want to be here.
I didn't want to be here. My parents are
I was forced to be here, but what can I say? I'm just so good at it.
For you.
Yeah, it turned out to be kind of life changing.
And life changing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, okay, even though you didn't view it as a dream, but
Yeah.
did you pursue more acting in some way at all?
I actually didn't pursue it at all.
Acting
It was
also
just
in
something I like. Oh, okay, this is fun. This is,
for
this is
TV is
pretty
so
cool.
different
This is
than
fun.
acting as
Until,
in theater. It's just completely different.
So I have. How should I explain it? She's not my sister. She's not my cousin, but I call her my younger sister. She's the daughter of my dad's colleague. And we
okay.
were close ever since she was born, right? So she's been with me ever since I was a kid. So I call her my younger sister because the first time I saw her was when she was being delivered. So, so I call her my younger sister.
Right.
And she was a child actor already. She was in the industry. She did commercials. She did
Every kid starts with
Lahan.
commercials.
She did a lot of stuff in the industry, right? And there was one day where I can't remember exactly, but I think my parents were picking her up instead of her parents, and we were waiting in the casting room. There was a casting room and there's a waiting room, right? We were just waiting outside, and I think that one of the casting directors or something just saw me sitting outside, and there was like a role
What?
that was in my age description that kind of had that same type.
Now
cast as
that
me,
is
so they're
like-
hey, why not come try it out? And
Crazy
I tried
because
it out,
it's
and I was
all
like,
about
this is pretty
timing,
fun.
basically.
So from that point on, whenever
Everything
like,
for him has been
she had
great
casting
timing.
or she had worked somewhere, I would just go with her.
Yeah,
'Cause-
tag along too.
tag along, right.
Probably join into audition.
Yeah, like sometimes because
Damn.
there was nothing better to do for a sixth grader.
Wow.
And did you get it the first time you try out?
Did I get it?
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly. I don't think I got it, but
Was it for like commercial or?
yeah, I think it was for commercial, but it wasn't very long until I got my first one. It was only like it was either the first one or the second try.
I see.
That I got my first commercial, and after being like on set, after trying it out, and especially after seeing that much money for an 11-year-old,
Yeah.
Getting-
Again, for a sixth
getting
grader.
paid that much for one day, I was like,
Okay, this is my life.
I'm onto something now.
why not?
Wow.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you did was for commercial, right?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was ขนมแคมปัส
Ah.
Yeah,
I see.
And it was actually pretty funny because, you know, Konom Campus, they tend to like collaborate with different toys, with different brands, right? And for that particular commercial,
You
it
get
was
to keep
for
them.
Mass Rider. That particular character was like two-tone.
What?
It was
It
like a
doesn't
fusion
even
of
look
some-
like himself. That is
I
crazy.
know exactly what you're.
For that particular commercial, it was for Mass Rider.
That is
That particular
crazy.
character was like two-tone. It was like a fusion of some
Oh, I
character.
know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it was two tones, so it was like one side was one color, the other side
That's
was another color.
crazy.
And what I had
I've
to
never
do was
seen
that
this before.
I had to paint my entire body. For my first job, one side was purple and the other side was like
Green.
light green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like a very interesting experience for my first job, and I was like, oh, why not? It was actually pretty fun. So after that, I started like doing more castings and started going into like different jobs in the industry, such as like ละคร such as musicals.
Which one do you like better? Because musical, that requires you to sing too, and
Yeah.
Were you a good singer?
Well, have you heard his voice?
I'd say I'm a decent singer.
You're an
Not the
amazing
best,
singer.
but I can perform.
But you had fun
decently.
singing.
Yeah, but I have
Right.
fun. I
Okay.
enjoyed singing ever since I was young. So
Right.
I think that was a very, very valuable experience for me.
Okay, and what was the musical?
The Sound of Music.
Oh, you were playing one of the kids?
Oh my god! That is crazy. I've never seen any of those. Like, though I have watched literally every Phuwin interview ever.
The Seven
Damn.
Children. And I think this musical is probably
you
like a
started on
classic that
stage
most
too?
people know.
Yeah.
If you don't know the Sound of Music, you'll definitely know this song.
Yep, I know the Sound of
Dear,
Music.
Female dear, a drop of golden sun. Yeah, this is something that I think most people know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's from this musical, and I got to be one of the 7 kids, the eldest male
Wow.
child.
Yeah,
The
Because
eldest child.
There were only like 2.
Damn, that is a lot of children to be
male
on stage.
kids, right?
Yeah, there are only 2.
It's very hard
two,
to
Yeah.
2 sons.
So
work
how
with
was the
children.
experience
It
for
was
the musical?
It was interesting. It was because the overall casting time as in the first time I casted for the role, to the first time being on stage with that musical was around 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And
It's
rehearsals took 2
Delayed
years.
gratification with theater. I
Yeah,
studied
it's a
musical
really
theater,
long time.
so
Yeah,
I
that's a
know
really
all
long
about this.
time, and
It takes
being focused on just one thing,
everything,
and
all
one
the
role for 2
rehearsal,
years changes
all the dress
a
rehearsal.
lot.
Right.
Every
Because
day
that's
you
what
have to
happens
rehearse.
like a musical
And
stars.
then
Like, they
years
stick to one
after,
role, doing
sometimes you only
everything every
perform.
night
Yeah.
for a long period of time, right?
Yeah, and our training time or rehearsal time was longer than the other cast members because we were 7 kids.
Yeah.
And getting 7 children in one room isn't easy.
Wow.
So it looks to me like you were heading toward the entertainment path, but
Yeah.
somehow you ended up studying engineering.
Yes.
So
How?
would you view it as like this is my plan B now, or engineering actually is plan A, and entertainment is plan B, or what?
Engineering is actually plan A.
Oh,
And entertainment is plan B because
you still didn't see yourself like working, like having this profession for real, like.
I only saw myself having this profession for the rest of my life around 7 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Very recently.
very recently, because I never saw this job as stable or sustainable.
Yeah, because it's all about youth
'cause
and beauty,
for you
and
or
as
in
soon as
general?
you start getting older,
Both
you
for
don't
me
get cast.
in general,
Okay.
right? Because in order,
It's very
this is a harsh
difficult.
truth, but in order for this job to be sustainable, being an actor, being an idol, especially in Thailand, you got to be like the top 0.1%. To be
As I said,
sustainable
they
and
can't
to
even be
do
too
it for a
fussy with
long
the
time,
roles they
right?
take
Which
because
I
if
never
they don't take the
believed
role,
in
they don't
myself
work.
Being able to do this for a long time, and although yes, the money is sustainable, it's not consistent enough in the long run to sustain yourself, because you have to admit that the world runs about money, and especially your life. And if you don't have enough of it to not only sustain yourself but your family behind you, then you probably have to end up doing something else in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I never really saw it
I
as
mean,
sustainable.
Yeah, but what changed 7
The
months ago?
literally one thing we learn
what
in
changed
musical theater school is that basically your retirement age is around 35. And I started studying at a musical theater school when I was like so young. So I knew for like a long time that at one point you just have to find something else, and then that's why most of people that are in the industry, in the entertainment industry, in acting, they end up after they're 35 or after they turn 30s. Most of them, they go in the route of coach or teachers. They teach acting, they teach singing, and then they move to not being on stage anymore because there's just so much roles you can get, you know, especially if you're older. If you're in your 30s to 40s, basically there's this thing in acting and theater where there's this kind of in between. So if you're, let's say, 16 to 29, you can play a lead role, main character, you can be in a romance, you can be in a comedy, but if you're around 30 to 38, there's this in between for actors, especially where you're too old to play a leading character and you're too young to play a dad. So basically, what we've learned is that around your 30 to 40, it's when you're gonna struggle the most to find a job because you're in this in between part where you literally if you get cast as a lead, romantic lead, they would rather have a romantic lead that would be like 28, 29 or 25. And then to play a dad, you can only start playing like parents when you're in your 40s. So it's really difficult.
Well, what changed was basically that a combination of two things.
Okay.
Of one being, although I was studying engineering, I did not do anything that my other peers were doing. So, for example, like building your own resume, building your own portfolio, or building the particular skill set that had to be used by engineers. So like, I knew that even if I went and applied for a job.
But like, what type of job
nobody
does
would
he want
accept
from
me because-
engineering?
Especially with the job market right now, and not only that, I don't have the skill set to support it. Right? And the other thing was, I invested so much time into this entertainment industry at the
But you
cost
gotta
of
see
the
it
other
through,
skills
yeah.
of in engineering, to the point that I can actually view myself now as doing this job, and I now have enough work to
Right.
support myself in the
Yeah.
long run.
But
And
also
I
he's very
actually
young.
now
He's like,
see
what,
that,
20?
this is something that I can be
But
doing
when
for a
he's
long
like
time,
29,
which is why it
that's when
changed.
it's going to start being
it
tough for him.
becomes clearer that, okay, I can see a clearer future now for me in entertainment business.
Yeah,
as
'cause-
opposed to engineering.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when I applied for university, almost everybody around me was like, why didn't you go into comm arts? Like, everyone was saying this from
But then that would
my
be the
cousins
same.
to my
That would still
teachers
be
at school
art.
to my friends. They were
Rather
like,
do something
เนี่ยนะ
More practical.
engineering, which everybody knew that I was going to go either into medicine or engineering,
Right.
but they didn't actually believe that I was going to do it.
At one point, we have learned that you did intern as someone who would take care of like the website maintenance, but at
Yeah.
GMMTV.
What?
Actually.
How did that come about?
What?
So, for my university, the university requires you to do an internship on your
So
junior
he
year.
interned at
However,
GMMTV?
the internship has to be engineering related, which was a problem
That's
for me.
funny.
Because, let me be frank that my schedule at that time, I could not do an internship
Like a
anywhere.
full-time
Like a
internship
full-time
anywhere.
internship, right? So, and luckily, GMMTV has
Well, that is very nice of
software
GMMTV
engineering
to then.
which it
have
may sound
everything.
weird. It may sound weird, right?
Yeah.
But bear with me. It has a software engineering department because we have many services such as our online shop and other in-house tools that are used by employees that are developed in-house by GMMTV, which is why I was like, oh wait, this is actually
Wait
could
a
be viable
minute.
option. So I applied
Two bird,
for an
one stone.
internship
Right.
there, and my official position was I can't remember the name of my position, but it was about UI.
Okay.
What is UI?
interface.
User interface.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was helping with the user interface in the company.
Engineering
Wow, that's
related?
cool.
Yeah,
Somehow.
it's software engineering.
It's software engineering, okay.
Yeah, my major is communications engineering, which encompasses things from like telecommunications, software engineering, coding. So
Oh, okay.
this was one of the things that I could do, which was user interface.
All right. And you were
Coding,
already
damn.
at GMMTV, right? At the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Okay. It worked out pretty well.
It worked out pretty
you can
well.
intern and then do the job later.
And what was pretty funny was actually like, so where I interned at, the office space, so our office has 2 floors, right? And the top floor, half of it is like a studio, dance practice rooms and whatever, and the other half is the office.
We've seen it
My
a lot
office
in
was on
the-
that floor. So I would
in
come
some
into work at like
GMMTV
10 a.m.,
videos.
9 a.m., 10 a.m., right?
Oh my
And
God, that's
stay
funny.
in like the office for like 3-4 hours.
Right.
And then when I had a schedule where I had to do something, I would just literally walk over to the other side
To
of the
the other
office,
floor.
which was the studio,
Right.
and then film whatever I had to film.
That's
and then
funny.
Go back to my own desk.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Actually. Very smart.
Very convenient
Is
for the
being-
time, actually. Yeah.
And you are very smart
Actually,
to
yeah,
think of this
this is
option.
actually smart.
Like, oh, okay. Combine the
Very
two,
efficient.
And then you can very easily like transport it to another side of yours that
Yeah, but-
you have to work.
Yeah, but it didn't mean that like I didn't do any work at all. I still
right.
actually had to be an intern and like
Yeah.
I actually still had
And
to do
pass your internship.
Yeah, I had to pass my internship, had to have a portfolio, a project to for the university and the company.
Okay, all right. But now that we're done with the studying of engineering,
Yeah,
okay,
I
just
finally graduated.
right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, now you can focus 100% on the work that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the first role that you got, like officially first role that was significant for you? What was that?
The first role that was significant. So, if my first acting role, I can't remember the name of the character exactly, but it was my first speaking role.
Okay.
It was in a lakon called Arun Sawat.
Arun Sawat. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Which
Oh my God.
I don't remember the details exactly because like I was very young back then, but it was with a friend named Yod Yong Sin, which a lot of people probably know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so it was my first speaking role, and it was my first.
I didn't know he had done
dip
all these
into
things before.
the acting industry.
Damn.
And I think that alone has opened a lot of paths for me. From that one work, it had led to many other minor acting roles, and like most notably, probably the lakons people may know would be like ซีรีส์เรื่องมังกร from ช่อง 3 หนึ่งในสวงอย่างเงี้ยare probably like lakons that people will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, it led to many other different opportunities.
Right. You said before that you enjoy the final part where you just came out on the stage and bowed to the audience and then just gave you some satisfaction. But now it's different, right? It's acting still.
Yeah, there's no audience.
You have to work with camera, with crew, with like different things now when you work at Lakon, right? So did it change the feelings?
Well, it did. It did actually. Because back then everything was so tense, especially on set. Like everyone was so tense, and the directors were strict. And as a kid, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't even know what acting was. I just knew that like, okay, I have this script, I have this line. Let's just do it to the best of my ability, right? And it was very pressuring. It was very, very tiring at first. However, I soon learned to enjoy it. Being in a role, being immersed in a role has its own charm, has its own fun in it. So after I got to learn how to be immersed in it, I think it helped a lot as it was way more fun than before. But the first few times was very pressuring.
That makes sense.
I think that's what happened to a lot of like new actors and new like star because you still have to learn the rope, know like how things work around here.
You have to learn literally the language of acting because you have to learn about call sheets and what's your number on the call sheets, and there's so much more behind that happens that we don't know because we see the final result. But it's very interesting because in acting there's time is money. When you let's say you're recording and you rented a house where, for example, they film a lot of BLs, they would have rented those houses. They only have a certain time to film. They would have to film from, let's say, 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. And then if they mess up, if some texts are messed up, if the actors cannot focus and keep on laughing and keep on having bloopers, it's going to make the entire set run behind. Also, it's gonna make the entire crew run behind. It's just very complicated. Like acting, especially, I mean, all what I know of is mostly in Europe or in Hollywood. So I wouldn't know if Thailand is the same. But if you laugh too much or if you are not being professional on set, you will be replaced. Literally, it's very, very tough.
Your first speaking role. Remember?
The next big thing was the musical, Sound of Music. Yeah, because I've never been in anything like it before, and Thailand's musical industry isn't really that big.
Right.
Yeah,
So
for
being
us,
part of
it's
that
very
was like
big
a
here
major,
because
major
I'm in
part of my
London.
life, and
And when I studied
it
musical
led to me
theater, I studied in
discovering
Paris,
a lot of things
where
about myself. Because as I said
I was
earlier,
in so
I'm
many
somebody who can be
musicals.
blunt. However, that is something that
because there's a big
goes
market
directly
for
against
musicals
Thai working
in
culture.
Europe.
Being blunt isn't necessarily viewed as a good thing in most situations. So that was the place where I got to learn a lot about myself, and I got to learn a lot about working with other people, how to speak with other people, how to phrase my words more softly, yet get the same message across.
Yeah. Sound like you learned it the hard way.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way.
Yeah. But did you have like major problems at the beginning, or it was like something that you can catch pretty early on and then kind of...
I think it was quite a major problem for me.
Okay.
Looking back on it, it's a major problem. At that time, I didn't think too much on it. But I was glad that it happened because it helped me a lot to shape me to become who I am today.
Oh, that's good. So that's what we do. We learn from our mistakes. We learn from the past and then do it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's something that I like and it's something that I enjoy doing. So why not try it? There's no harm in trying either way.
Sure.
That's so true.
I think I kind of saw the pattern here from...
You miss 100% of the shots you do not take.
Kind of try acting and then singing. Even though you didn't have that much confidence to begin with, you can learn to gain more. Like by doing it, like giving it a shot.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Literally,
So,
especially being an
One of
actor.
the things that I think is
You gotta take like 100 auditions to get one role,
that
literally.
I don't care if I fail. I don't really care if I make mistakes because
Actually, if you're an actor, if you're in the music industry, you fail. You fail multiple times. Even like the biggest actors that you might know from Hollywood, they have failed. They have failed like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions in order to get that one role that's going to make them famous. Like you cannot, if you cannot handle failure, you cannot be in the entertainment industry. Like that's the first thing that you learn. You will be humbled. You will literally learn your lines. You will go on that audition thinking you are gonna nail it, and then they will be like, you're not really quite what we're looking for, even if you nailed that audition. And then you get a no, and you get a no, and you get a no, until maybe you get a yes. And then there's some people, they get a yes for their first audition, and that is one person out of maybe 100,000 people.
I view mistakes as something that's normal, and so like Gemini said, if you fail, ช่างแม่ง if you fail, fuck it, right?
Like, you watched that episode.
Get over
I
it.
watched that episode. Like,
Yeah, and you agree with him.
I agree with him. I agree with him. If you fail, fuck it. Like there's nothing.
He
else
watched
that
his
you can
twins
do either way
interview.
except
That's nice.
Solve that problem and make sure that it doesn't happen the next time.
Right. Have you always been like this, or something happened then you changed this kind of mindset?
I have always been like this. As long as I've tried it, then that's just enough. Try it enough to know whether you like it or not.
Right.
Then decide.
So was it the same kind of thinking that got you into be involved with fashion now?
Yeah.
But you having done some fashion work, maybe they saw something, and
Yeah,
of
I
course
think-
they did, right?
Yeah, I think they saw a lot of things in me that I myself did not see in myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've talked about this with them before. And when a brand looks at someone to be their ambassador, to represent their brand, they look at that person's personality and what exactly does that person stand for exactly. And they said that it was exactly that. It was my chillness. It was my
Composure.
my sense of not being attached to a particular fashion sense that made them interested in me, because it made me able to carry different outfits that may not look particularly outstanding on everyone, but I was able to carry it with a mindset of not being worried about my own outfit that much, which made them like me.
I see.
Because sometimes outfits, right, play a role in a person's confidence.
Sure.
Yeah, and for example, if you go out to like a wedding wearing nothing but your pajamas, of course your self-confidence is going to feel down. It's going to go down, right? And how you represent yourself in that situation is tied to how you carry yourself and the fashion that you wear. And I think that it's the way that I don't have a particular mindset of whether like this outfit is so bad or this outfit is so good that makes me able to wear it in such a way that you don't really feel unnatural from looking at it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Which was really mind-blowing to me when I heard it. I was like, oh, wow.
But that is so impressive. Was it me?
Yeah.
Was it me you're talking about?
Yeah,
Of course it's me. Okay, but did you understand the word like friend of the house at the time? Were you familiar with the term?
I was not familiar at all.
Okay.
I was only familiar with the words of being a friend of and being a presenter, because that's what we use in Thailand for
Right.
different commercial products, not necessarily fashion, but like commercial products.
Right.
Right?
But we have heard like ambassador to the brand or like being a muse of a brand. But what is exactly the friend of the house or the friend of the
I know
brand?
nothing about
What's the
fashion
difference?
industry.
So the differences aren't exactly that big, and you could say to an extent it's not really that different, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're representing the brand in what you wear, in your own personality and your own everyday life, right? So it's not that different no matter what position you're in, because at the end of the day, they have chosen you as a representative of the brand, right? So mostly the differences is just
The title.
in the wording, the framing, and in the brand's own usage,
Okay.
their own terms of usage.
Yeah. So what is the nature of the collaboration then? Like when you talk to the brand, what do they expect from you, or what do you have to do for the brand?
So there's not necessarily a thing that I have to do, but being a friend of the house is representing the brand in your own everyday life. So it's you, yourself, and your personality being tied to that particular brand. Because brands, they don't exactly look at a person and they don't exactly view their ambassador or their friends as a commercial product, right? They view it as someone who embodies that brand or has to wear that brand's clothes and integrate it into their own daily lives and not feel forced.
Okay.
So the average person, for example, in my case, it's Loewe, right? If the average person sees me wearing Loewe, it has to be in a sense that, oh wow, that outfit is so fitting on him. Or it has to create that sense that like, oh, this person and this brand goes so well together. Goes hand in hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it needs to be authentic.
Yeah, it has to be authentic.
From the inside, from the outside, looking in.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So it's not just like, because we have heard that this is like people or brand pays you to wear their products or their outfit.
That's
Yeah, which
sponsorship.
is exactly
That's
what they want to avoid.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
different.
they don't want people to view it as, oh, this person is just wearing this because he's being paid to wear it. That's the exact thing that they want to avoid. They want to choose the right person that can represent their brand, can wear their brand, and people view it as something that that person would actually wear in
Right.
their everyday lives.
It's got to be like natural.
Yeah.
Okay. And authentic. Coming back to the word authentic.
Yeah, and authentic, which
Yeah.
is something that I'm totally down with.
Right. Okay. And you have to travel a lot for your work as a friend of the house.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell me about what you have done so far. Like what event you have joined, or what particularly like what mission did you have to do?
So the major ones were, the first one was in Thailand when they opened an exhibition in Thailand, and they invited many different like artists and people in the industry to help
Wow,
collaborate.
that's
And that
such a
was my
nice
first taste
suit.
being with Loewe, because they flew in a film crew from Europe to film just that event.
Wow.
And that opened my eye a lot about the fashion world, because like the way that the foreign fashion industry views their own work and their own ideas are very different from how we do it. So once I got a taste of that, it was really amazing, and I was like, wow, this is really different. So, and the second mission was my first time in Paris Fashion Week during last year's fall-winter collection. And that was really eye-opening, going to France for the first time, being in Paris, meeting different designers, meeting different people. And the latest one was around a month ago. Yeah,
I see.
Going to the latest fashion week with Loewe.
That's good. Okay. Let's play the game, because we have prepared some game for you.
All right.
It's not going to be embarrassing anyway. It's going to be like fun, lighthearted. So I just want you to pick from these emoji, if you will, and then we have a question associated with that emoji to ask you. Okay, the first one is the emoji or the icon of an airplane. So the question to you is that if you could visit any fictional world, where would you go?
Fictional?
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to Hogwarts?
This is interesting. Fictional. I'm someone who reads a lot of fantasy books. I really love fantasy books.
Okay.
Yeah, and
You gotta go to Hogwarts. Come on.
if there was one fictional world that I could visit, I don't know what the world's called, but it's from a book called Aragon.
Oh my god, I know this book.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite books growing up
Ah, okay.
and my favorite series. So probably that world because I haven't.
They're dragons and stuff, right?
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
thought about this book in a long time, and that was the first thing that came to mind. So
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the details exactly, but I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Okay,
something with
so you love
dragons.
fantasy.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
love
That'd be
fantasy.
fun.
Cool.
So I
Have
grew
you
up.
been in any fantasy series or lakon or?
No, not yet, but I
okay.
have one historical drama coming up, which is
Ah.
sort of fantasy in the middle
Okay.
called Scarlet
Oh.
Heart,
Okay.
which is the Thai version,
right,
which
right.
will be very, very interesting.
What
to
can
film.
you tell us about that at
So,
this point?
I can't tell you much, not because I don't want to, because I don't know.
Because we don't know nothing. All we know is we're making it.
Not even being filmed yet. The script is being written right now as we speak.
So it's a future
Yeah,
project.
it's a future project.
But it's happening.
But it's happening.
I see.
Yes.
Was it like
Yes.
the adaptation from international series, right?
Yeah. It's an adaptation from a Chinese novel or light novel, which has been remade into a Chinese drama and a Korean drama.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this time we are doing the Thai version. So
It's gonna be
very,
huge.
very excited to see how it's
Right.
going to come out.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next one, please. Next one. What do you have?
Yeah. Cake.
A cake. Okay. If you could invent a crazy food combination, or you didn't even have to invent, maybe it's something that you already eat, what would that be? Like eating something with something, like pairing them together in a very unconventional way that most people don't even think about.
Oh, that's interesting.
What's your favorite food to have?
My favorite, it's really hard, but my top two are beef, like meat, like all different types of beef, like steak, yakiniku, shabu, those type of stuff. And the second one is ramen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think that but for me personally, I think one of the combinations that I like the most, and I think it's more of a Thai thing. I don't see a lot of foreigners eating this. Is that bolognese spaghetti with fried chicken?
Okay.
It doesn't sound weird at all.
It's not weird.
It
it's
doesn't
just
sound
that
weird.
It sounds
bolognese,
like
you
it
just
could go
usually
together.
eat it with
Yeah,
meatballs.
right.
That's
But it's
it.
something like I had ever since I was a kid, because at home my mom does a lot of cooking, and she has her own version of like Thai bolognese. It's for those who are Italian or those who are Western. It's gonna sound really weird to you, but the bolognese is sweet. It's made with ketchup.
Oh yeah.
Don't blame us.
Yeah.
It's really good tasting. It's really good. But yeah, it's sweet. It's made of.
I've
it's
had my
made with ketchup
fair share
paired
of
with like
ketchup pasta when I was a
fried chicken,
kid.
which is really Thai way. In the Thai
I think it's
way,
a
which
thing here
I
in
don't know about
Europe.
other people, but in my house we just use soy sauce, ซีอิ๊วขาว and MSG ผงชูรส That's it, and flour. That's it. And I think those two paired together are like the perfect combination for me.
They sound good together. Yeah, I'll try it.
That does not
It's
sound
really
good to
good.
me.
Right, okay. So if you don't know what to eat tonight, just give it a whirl. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Next one. What do you have?
glass
of wine.
Okay, so wine.
Is
if
it?
you could have dinner, okay, with any
Oh, okay.
historical
I thought this was gonna be
figure
alcohol-related
or fictional
question.
character, who would you
Ooh.
pick? And
I've seen this question many times. I've never thought about it actually.
yeah. Have you answered this question before?
Never.
Okay.
It would be Rasputin.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really interesting because he has been deemed by history as a madman
Sure, yeah.
and deemed as like a holy saint or unkillable, right? I think people have heard about
I would
the story
love
about
to.
his death being
Yeah.
like shot many times and not dying.
Yeah.
And I think
To
it would
have
be
dinner with
interesting to have
Einstein.
dinner
That
with
must be
him
very
because
interesting.
I always believe that history is written by the winners and history isn't accurate.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I
That
just
is
want to
true.
verify how accurate
That's so true.
it is. And I wanted to get to know this man because being able
We
to be
only hear
close
one
friends
side of
with
the story,
Tsar of
not the
Russia,
side that.
I know.
yet at the same time being hated by the entire Russian population
Yeah.
is something very interesting. And I don't think a madman could just get into that position.
Yeah. I think it's a game of power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to
You
be
have to be
involved in
smart.
that,
I sincerely believe that
yeah.
there's no way that you could just be a madman and just be in the middle of that. You have to be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
a great choice because I am also amazed by his story. as well because it looks like out of this world. Like how
Yeah.
could a guy do this and be in his position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Great choice. Okay.
Very
Next
interesting.
one. You've got
Answers.
hearts. Okay. So if you could take someone, anyone, on a date anywhere, where would it be? And
On a
what
date
would you
anywhere?
guys do? Yeah. The place.
Let's do like a first date.
Okay.
All right, a first date type situation. This is one of my favorite places to be in the world, but it's a park.
A park.
Yeah, and either like a national park or anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Because whenever I go to any country, my managers will know it. People who travel with me will know it. Is that we don't tend to be able to go out during the day because we work during the day, but we'll have free time at night. And one of my favorite things to do is go take walks around parks in different countries.
Wow.
And it may sound dangerous a bit, but my park walks would usually be at like midnight. 1
If
a.m.,
you're a
2
woman,
a.m.
it would be dangerous. If you're a man, it would be fine.
I really
Women
enjoy
do not
walking
go in
around
parks at
and
1
being
a.m.,
around
trust
nature.
me.
And I think that would be a perfect first date for me.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
So midnight stroll in the park with
Yep.
Phuwin.
Yep.
Would you go? I bet you would. All right. Last
Don't worry,
one.
I won't do anything.
Okay. Last but not least.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You have got. You know what it is, right?
ประตูโดเรมอน
ถูกต้อง
What's
So,
that?
Like the ประตูไปไหนก็ได้ If
Oh,
you
it's a
have
door?
this,
Oh, okay, okay.
where would you go?
The Doraemon door.
Like a portal to anywhere.
Yes.
Where would I go? I would want this with me all the time. to
And
go
never
to
take
work,
planes.
Because we were talking
Teleportation.
about this before we started
Right.
recording, but I love traveling. But
I'm
I
scared of
hate
flying.
The process of
Yeah,
traveling. I hate
so-
being in a car. I hate being in an airplane.
Yeah.
I hate waiting.
I feel you, man.
Okay. So the,
If I could
Same.
just cut down on transportation time, that would
Right.
be perfect.
So this would be perfect.
Can you
for
imagine
you.
the
Yeah.
amount of
Just
time you would
Give
win?
Phuwin a door to anywhere, then he'd
Yeah.
be happy.
A flight to New York is like what? From Singapore to
For me,
New
it's
York is
8
18
hours.
already.
Oh my
know, it's almost a
god!
day.
Wow.
It's almost a day. And we're in Thailand. We don't have a direct flight. We have to transfer somewhere else. Either
Oh.
Dubai, Singapore,
Yeah,
Japan.
such a hassle.
Yeah. It's a full
Right.
1 day of travel. That's just
Damn.
1 day gone. So please just give me this.
Okay, so you love traveling.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you've been to many places.
Yep.
Any place that is the most memorable and you want to keep going back to? Even though
Paris.
you have to like be in a plane for like 16 hours.
If the most, let's just separate it into two questions, right? The first part, the memorable one. The second part, the one I can keep going back to. The country that I could keep going back to is Japan, because I'm a big foodie and I love trying out different foods, trying out different things.
You said you love ramen before, right?
Yeah, and ramen is one of my favorite foods. So Japan, definitely. And the most memorable place would probably be the most memorable place for me is Hong Kong.
Oh,
Actually,
Why is that?
Because I grew up with Hong Kong. My mother is an
Oh
flight attendant or
wow! I
hostess
didn't know
for
that.
Cathay Pacific.
Damn.
So she's based in Hong Kong, and ever since I was young, it was a place that I would fly to like almost every 6 months, every
damn.
3 months. So it's a place that I dare say that I grew up in, and I think that now that my mom has already retired, she doesn't work with the airline anymore. I don't get many opportunities to
Oh
go there.
wow!
Yet I am still attached to it. So I feel like no matter what, that is still one of my most memorable places.
What a great childhood
nice.
to have.
And I bet
Traveling.
you want to kind of go back and check out if anything's different from what you can remember.
Yeah. So because every time I go back, I always go to my old apartment, my mom's old apartment. So we no longer have it now because she doesn't work there, right?
Yeah.
But we always go back there, and
Oh,
I always just stay like at the bottom of the building. I just look up and I just stare for like 5-10 minutes.
Remembering good old days.
Yeah, just remembering.
Oh, nice. Okay. Talking about your upcoming project, which is still way in the future, Scarlet Heart. So is Bonds gonna be in there too?
No.
No. Okay. Because there's the like chemistry between you two, and everybody love you guys together, right? So
Thank
let's
you.
talk a little bit about him.
Yeah.
What do you
sure.
like most about Bond?
What do I like most? about
Pond
him?
is the most lovable person.
I like his passion.
He's
So,
just
I'm
a
someone who
big
values
dog energy,
a lot of, like,
puppy,
old
nice.
timer values, right? Like stuff is like being hardworking, being respecting others, right? And I think that I respect his passion a lot because whenever he's passionate about something, he dives in head first. Like he just goes right through it head first. And a lot of times I have to like, I'm someone who likes to look at the bigger picture. Right? And a lot of the times I have to like try and grab him and pull him back. It's like, hey, okay, I know you're you're passionate. I know you want to do this, but let's step back a bit.
Okay, easy.
Easy. Yeah.
Right.
And that's the one thing that's one of the things I really, really like about him is that since he's so passionate, when he gets passionate about something, he goes all in and he works really hard on it. And I think that's a really respectable quality in a person.
Yeah, I think it's very understandable because a lot of times we kind of admire a person for the quality that we don't actually have. But wow, you can be like someone who's different from me, but I admire you for that, right?
Yeah. Because Pan and I are like two different poles of a magnet. Because like we're really, really different.
Right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I think it's like a magnet. At the end of the day, when we're together, I think there's something that a lot of people like about it.
Yeah. So being in the series that you have been in gave you the opportunity to be exposed to a lot of international fans too. And I bet they gave you like lovely feedbacks and like send you nice messages. So what would be some things that they have told you that you still remember?
Wow, your Thai is really good.
They came from across the world just to see us for like 15 minutes. And
I went to see
Pon
Pond and Phuwin when I was in Thailand. I saw them.
It was a Thai family.
at the
They
mall.
said that they flew all the way from like Washington in the States just to see
We
us.
traveled
And
to see them.
I know from experience how expensive that trip is. And
the time spent on
and
the
the
flight.
time spent on the flight. Yeah, so it was something that touched me a lot because like, wow, these people who love us, yet we don't know personally, are able to sacrifice and give this much for us.
Yeah, they invested in you guys, right?
Yeah, and it was something that really touched me and was really heartwarming.
And I'm sure they're watching right now because we always get a lot of international fans on this show anyway. So do you have anything to say to them right now?
Yeah, I'm not that good with words, but
You're not that good with words. Excuse
being
me.
with me every step of the way, and I hope that we'll be together for quite a while. I know people come, people go, but let's just stay together as long as possible.
Oh,
That is very nice. And I have got to say, you worth the wait. Because we've been waiting for you to be on the show for so long, and today I have a really good time. And I think that you kind of do too. You have a good time, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I am impressed with how you speak, how you use your English, and
Thank you.
everything. All the stories that you are telling us is so great. Very
I've
impressive.
learned so much from this interview. That is
Before we
crazy.
leave, before I say goodbye,
I have such a bigger picture now in my head of his life.
Our show, คำนี้ดี So obviously we are keen on words, right?
Yeah,
we love words. So we would like to know naturally what your favorite words are in all the languages that you speak.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Thai.
Okay.
Actually, let's start with Chinese. Then
Sure.
Then we'll end with English.
We can do that.
For me in Chinese, since I'm not that proficient, there aren't a lot of words I know, but there's one word that has really touched me, and that is 辛苦了.
辛苦了.
辛苦, it's like it's like thank you for your hard work. And I feel like we don't really have this particular word for Thai and both English. Because like, if you're gonna thank someone for their hard work, you just say thank you or like say thank you very much. But this more directly translates to like both encouraging you and thanking you. And it encompasses a lot more than just saying thank you for your hard work. And I think this word is really personal to me because there are a lot of times that I get overwhelmed with work. And I think that a short phrase that just gets to the point of thanking for everything, yet also encouraging you is something that helps me a lot.
Wow. That is nice.
Yeah.
Shingu. Shingu, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
As for Thai, my favorite word is ปล่อยวาง
ปล่อยวาง
Yeah, ปล่อยวาง because you gotta let go. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you gotta let go in life, and there's not necessarily a thing or someone that could tell you what exactly you have to let go, but it's something that you have to realize for yourself, and you have to get it off of your chest by yourself. Right? Other people can't do it for you. But I think it's one of the most important things that you have to do, because otherwise you won't be able to take on the future and take what is in store for you. Yeah.
Wow, I like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And finally, for English, there is one book that is one of my favorite books in the world. And this word isn't an actual word in the English dictionary, but it is in a book called The Dictionary of Words for Obscure Sorrows.
Oh.
Okay.
So I think, Pibik, I think that you'll really like this book because this book is nothing but just a list of words describing feelings that the English language does not have.
Oh, wow. I want to check
there are
that
like
book.
many different words that this author made up just to describe a particular feeling. Right? And
Okay.
my favorite word is, I don't even know if I'm going to pronounce it correctly because it's not an actual word. Like, I tried searching it up before coming here to find the pronunciation, but I couldn't find it. But I think it's Sokha, like S-O-C-H-A.
Sokha.
Yeah, and the author wrote that his definition of this word is that it is the feeling of confidence that you give to other people. Yet at the same time, you're not actually confident inside.
Oh, damn. That is such
I really like this word because
meaning.
one of the things that I tell myself all the time is that
fathom the feeling he's talking about.
Is key and everything in life.
It's about what you project.
I feel like with confidence, you can do anything and no one will question it at all. Whether you're a leader, whether you're doing something, one of the most batshit insane crazy things in life, but if you just have confidence, not only will you be able to do it, but the other people around you will believe in it. However, I think there is another side to that, which is that you can trick yourself to be confident when you're actually not. And I think this work encompasses it very well because it's all right to be confident in front of people, but it's also all right to not be confident inside. Yeah.
It can be built.
It can be built.
It can be made.
It can be built, it can be made, and you can trick yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And it will help you a lot in life.
Yeah,
but
fake it till you make
necessarily
it,
have to be confident
basically.
inside.
Yeah. Probably sometimes just for a certain purpose, but it's a good exercise, I think.
Yeah.
You have to keep practicing, like building your confidence.
Or just simply showing confidence. You
Yeah.
don't have to be confident. Just showing confidence will help you a lot in life.
Wow. Those are great 3 words that we learned from
That was
Phuwin today.
so
Thank you so much for
interesting.
coming.
I'm going to check out
Thank
that
you very
book.
much for having me here.
Like I said, you're worth the wait. And thank you so much. Wish all the best lucks for you in everything that you will be doing in the future too. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
ขอบคุณครับ
much. ขอบคุณครับ It's a pleasure.
Such great quotes by Phuwin. He's speaking so much truth. That is so insane. I really love how they give us definitions for words and descriptions on the video as it's happening. I think it's very cool. I feel like it's gonna help a lot of people gaining more vocabulary. It's very interesting also that he says he's not great with words, when I think his vocabulary is actually very high level compared to someone who actually is fluent in English, who has their first language as English. I feel like he uses a lot of very interesting words, and I really much enjoyed hearing him speak. I didn't know a lot of the things that he said. We touched really a lot on his childhood, and I didn't know anything about this because I feel that any interviews, even though we've watched so many interviews, I've watched even some of his interviews on his own, not even with Pon, like on his own, it's all my channel membership, but all of those, they tend to all have the same questions. It's always the same questions, it's always repetitive, it's not deep interviews. I really enjoy listening to an actual deep conversation. This to me is just like listening to a podcast. It's just so thoughtful, deep. It really goes and nitpicks inside the brains of the people that they're interviewing, and I really enjoy it. I feel like I've learned so much from this interview. I feel like I've also gained so much knowledge. I feel like it's also gonna make me kind of Google a few things. I feel like it's gonna kind of challenge me a little bit to like learn more, and that is what conversation should be about. I'm just such a sucker for a good deep conversation. It's just so interesting. I love it so much. I actually remember watching the Gemini interview, and for some reason I feel like now at the end I was saying, oh, they should have Phuwin on it. I feel like maybe I had said that in the Gemini interview. There's not that many actors right now who speak also English that they can have. I feel like there is a few, but there's not that many. I think it would be very interesting if they had Dunk, because Dunk is also very good with English. So I think next should be Dunk on the podcast. And yeah, what a great interview. Phuwin is so wise, and he seems so beyond his years. The fact that he's 20? Is he 19 or 20? It's kind of insane because he seems to be such an old soul. It's the way he's talking about his childhood and his life makes it seems like he's been living for 40 years. It seems like he's been living different lives. And it's very interesting. I really like that we touched on the industry, just because obviously my entire childhood was about the entertainment industry. I literally studied at a musical school. I did auditions when I was young. I was in musicals. So for me to hear a perspective from someone who's gone through all of this but in a different country is very interesting. And yeah, what a great interview. That was so fun, and hope you guys enjoyed. And if you want to watch more interviews of Phuwin or Pon also, it's all my channel membership. You can join down below, and I will see you next video.